And we welcome you back to Newsmax Now. John Bachman, Miranda Kahn, and we're also talking about conservative commentator Michael Reagan weighing in on the likelihood of the GOP field and their chances of beating Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, Reagan seems pretty confident that all the Republican candidates will fare well. Take a listen.
You've got a lot of great candidates in this race. I think that's good for the Republican Party, but what the conservatives have to do is find out which horse they're actually going to ride all the way to the finish line. And if their horse fails to make it to the finish line, they've got to find another horse to get on, not just go home, if indeed we want to win the election in 2016.
It is interesting, Michael. On other occasions, you and I have spoken about Hillary Clinton and her candidacy, and now some polling in New Hampshire seems to be bringing true what you were talking about. Hillary Clinton now behind Rand Paul, 47% to 41%, behind Jeb Bush by that same margin, and just 1 percentage point closer to Marco Rubio. All three of those Republicans would beat Hillary in the Granite State right now. You maintain Hillary is going to be a weak candidate. Has anything changed your mind on that?
No, nothing has changed my mind at all. You know, I told you before, JD, that in California, because I can, I will vote for her because I want her to win the nomination of the Democrat Party. I think any one of our possible candidates can beat Hillary Clinton in a general election because all of our candidates, the one thing our candidates have that she has never had is likability.
So there you go, straight from Michael Reagan. What do you think about that? He would vote for her because he can in California in the primary because he thinks she is the best person for the GOP to run against. Any one of those candidates he talked about.
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, I'm surprised that he was being very general about all the candidates and not being, I guess, harsher as I've heard him in the past. I mean, I was telling you while we were listening to that one of my favorite quotes from him is saying that he thinks that too many of the candidates are trying to be more Reagan than Reagan was.
Yeah.
And that he said all along that we need to find candidates that are more moderate and less conservative if they really plan to win. So
well, that's because these candidates realize that they need to do what Reagan did, just in a different way. They need to refocus the party and, you know, galvanize the party behind a new message.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Time will tell, right.
All right, let's turn to our Max Life segment where we bring you lifestyle stories from around the web. Here's what's trending.
Yeah, a new screening technique is changing the way doctors are looking for cancer. They're called liquid biopsies, and they work by detecting DNA of tumors that shed into the blood. They are much less invasive than surgical biopsies, and one woman is crediting the process with saving her life.
Well, if there hadn't been this liquid biopsy test, they may not have found the cancer until I had developed symptoms. By then, it may have been too late.
Well, doctors use these new tests when they don't know the tumor's location or if it's too difficult to get a sample.
That's great, because I know a lot of people worry about scarring
when
it comes to biopsies, so that's wonderful news.
Yeah.
Our next story comes from Care 11 in Minnesota, where a tiny little teacup poodle is making a big difference at a nursing home. Meet Nala. I'm going to see here. She goes to work every day with her owner, Doug Dawson, who works as a medications assistant. Now, despite a lack of any formal therapy training, Nala is working miracles with the residents at Ling Bloomston Nursing Home. Dawson says Nala just seems to know which residents need a little extra TLC, and she's happy to give it to them.
That's great. You know, those dogs are very perceptive a lot of times, and
poodles are one of the smartest breeds out there.
And especially with senior folks who might be suffering from dementia, a lot of times the dog can break down their own anxiety.
Right.
I've seen it myself. It's interesting.
I think every day should bring your dog to work day.
Yeah. Well, not every dog. Let's just say let's make some rules about that.
My dog would be all for it, right?
All right. Your dog is special. Speaking of another special story, Stephen Colbert is planning to auction off his set from his Comedy Central show before he takes over for David Letterman this fall. Now, the money he raises is going to help school teachers. The popular late-night talk show host teamed up with a nonprofit group to contribute a total of $800,000 for the set. The money will then be used to pay for everything from classroom supplies and professional development classes for teachers in his home state of South Carolina. You see Round of applause here. This announcement coming last week during a video conference that Colbert made with an elementary school in Greenville, South Carolina.
That's so wonderful to hear. Of course, I'm a little biased. My mom was a teacher. My mother-in-law was a teacher. But a lot of these teachers, have to, bring in their own supplies.
That's right. And a lot of teachers go out there, they buy their own school supplies because they face budget shortfalls, just like a lot of other agencies these days. Well, I think we got time for one more. For a small fee, you can view Princess Diana's will in a new British public records site. Now, following her death in a car crash at age 36, Princess Diana left about $30 million to her 2 sons. There are more details of her will that are up on the website right now. You can also check out Winston Churchill's new records, public records, on the website. So, any folks who are fans?
Just a little odd to me.
I'm interested in Churchill's will. He's an interesting character in history.
There's something a little creepy about that. I don't know.
Sure.
Churchill, maybe because it's a little longer. I don't know.
All right, more Newsmax Now coming up right after this.